It started on a Wednesday. I remember because I had 5 tabs open, 2 coffees in me, and no plans to leave the apartment for the rest of the week. Most of my job is just fixing things other people broke. I work remotely. Contractor stuff. Short-term systems cleanup for companies that won't hire real IT. That morning I logged into a shared server to pull some audit logs. Simple routine. Download, scan, report. But there was a folder I didn't recognize. Hidden at first. Just a gray placeholder, blank name, no timestamp. I had to unhide system items to even see it. Inside, there was one file. .txt format. Small size. Opened in Notepad by default. No name. Just underscore. I opened it. It was text. Nothing special. But the first thing I noticed was the time code format. 8 hours 47 minutes and 13 seconds, woke up late. Didn't shower. Coffee 1. 8 hours 49 minutes and 32 seconds, open laptop. VPN connected. 8 hours 52 minutes and 16 seconds, checked inbox. Deleted 3 unread. It was me. Exact. Down to the second. Everything I'd done that morning, listed, line by line. I scrolled further. It kept going. My browser history. The YouTube videos I hovered over but didn't click. Even the moment I paused music because the upstairs neighbor slammed a door. I looked at the file's modified timestamp. 8:54 a.m. The exact time I'd opened it. Which meant it had been written before that. I tested it. Closed the file. Waited 5 minutes. Opened it again. New lines had appeared. 8 hours 57 minutes and 44 seconds, opened system folder. Opened file again. Looking for changes. 8 hours 58 minutes and 7 seconds, looked up. System keylog detection. In new tab. 8 hours 58 minutes and 14 seconds, still staring. Still reading. I froze. It was writing itself in real time. Not just tracking. Anticipating. I typed one word in a new window. Test. Didn't hit enter. Just typed. Seconds later. 8 hours 59 minutes and 2 seconds, typed word, test, into new tab. Didn't submit. I shut the laptop. Sat there. Nothing in the file looked threatening. No commands. No IP logs. Just observation. Everything I did. Thought about doing. It didn't say, you. It didn't speak. It just listed. But something about the tone felt colder than code. I left the laptop shut for the rest of the day. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about all the things it didn't mention. The times I got up and didn't do anything. The few seconds I stared out the window at nothing. The way I'd caught myself reading the file as if it were talking to me. The next morning I opened the laptop without thinking. Habit. Muscle memory. Chrome opened, tabs restored, everything where I left it. The file was still there. Still open. I hadn't saved it. It didn't matter. New entries had already appeared. 7 hours 12 minutes and 4 seconds, slept badly. Got up twice. Didn't check phone. 7 hours 13 minutes and 18 seconds, looked out window. Thought about nothing. 7 hours 15 minutes and 1 second, sat down. Opened laptop. I checked the file properties. It hadn't been edited by any process I could trace. No running background scripts. Nothing attached to the VPN. I scanned the system. No keyloggers, no malware, no outbound traffic beyond the usual services. The file had no hidden metadata. Just a list. I scrolled down. The last few lines were new. 7 hours 17 minutes and 22 seconds, still reading. Still confused. Thinking about deleting. 7 hours 17 minutes and 34 seconds, won't delete. Not yet. I paused. I hadn't made that decision yet. I was only starting to wonder. And now I was sitting there, realizing the file already knew. Not just tracking, predicting. I pulled the Ethernet cable, disabled Wi-Fi, hard-killed the VPN, full isolation. Then I opened the file again. New lines had been added. 7 hours 20 minutes and 11 seconds disconnected. Assumes isolation is possible. 7 hours 20 minutes and 30 seconds still reading. 7 hours 20 minutes and 47 seconds considering calling someone. Doesn't know who? I hadn't moved. My hand was still on the mouse. But it had typed the word someone before I even thought of calling a friend. I stood up, left the room, let the screen sit untouched. When I came back 10 minutes later, the screen had gone to sleep. But the file was still open, still growing. 7 hours 31 minutes and 3 seconds left room. Went to kitchen. Didn't touch anything. 7 hours 31 minutes and 52 seconds. Looked at reflection in microwave. Didn't like it. That detail made me cold. Because I hadn't even realized I'd done that. But now, thinking back, yeah, I did glance at the microwave. And yeah, my reflection looked off. It wasn't just predicting. It was noticing things before I did. I highlighted the text. Scrolled all the way down. Selected everything. Hit delete. The screen blinked. Blank. I hit save. Nothing happened. No confirmation. The file stayed open. Then a new line appeared. 7 hours 35 minutes and 12 seconds. Tried to delete. Wants control back. Another line. 7 hours 35 minutes and 24 seconds. We'll try again tomorrow. I stared at that one for a long time. Because it didn't say might. It didn't say probably. It said will. And I knew it was right. I didn't touch the laptop for the rest of the day. I left it open on the table, screen dimmed, the text file still running. I thought if I ignored it, maybe it would stop. It didn't. When I finally opened it that night, I expected to see a few new entries. Passive observations. My movements around the apartment. Maybe the idle pacing I didn't realize I'd been doing. But the file had changed. The format was the same, timestamps, short statements, but the times were wrong. They were ahead. The first line said, 23 hours 48 minutes and 3 seconds, sits down again. Opens the file. Which was what I had just done. Down to the second. I scrolled. The next line. 23 hours 49 minutes and 30 seconds, reads this line. Doesn't move. Then, 23 hours and 50 minutes, looks toward hallway. Hears nothing. I waited. Didn't move. Watched the time tick. At 23 hours and 50 minutes I looked toward the hallway. I didn't hear anything. But I turned my head. Exactly when the file said I would. I went still. Kept reading. The file continued. 23 hours 52 minutes and 14 seconds. Wonders if this is hypnosis. Or feedback. 23 hours 52 minutes and 46 seconds. Starts breathing faster. It wasn't like reading a journal. It was like reading muscle instructions, in real time. And my body followed without asking. At 23 hours and 53 minutes I shut the lid. Broke the connection. I paced. I spoke out loud. I forced my thoughts into language, out of my head, so they couldn't be pre-written. But when I opened the file 10 minutes later, the lines had continued. They'd guessed everything. 2 minutes and 44 seconds walks back. Doesn't want to open it, but does. 3 minutes and 5 seconds, thinks of leaving. Checks phone. No signal. 3 minutes and 29 seconds, realizes there was no storm. Wonders why the bars dropped. I picked up my phone. Looked. 0 bars. No Wi-Fi. No data. I walked to the window. Looked outside. No movement. No cars. The silence felt off. Like everything was on pause. Back at the screen, I scrolled further. Now the file jumped. 7 hours 16 minutes and 2 seconds he will wake up. Sit on edge of bed. Feel blank. 7 hours 17 minutes and 10 seconds he will say, "I think I'm fine." Out loud. 7 hours 17 minutes and 44 seconds, he will realize he never went to sleep. These weren't logs anymore. They were a script. A full day ahead. I checked the date. The file showed tomorrow's. It was already writing what I hadn't done yet. But the part that stayed with me, the part one couldn't stop seeing, was the last line on the screen. 7 hours 18 minutes and 19 seconds he will check the file. Smile slightly. 7 hours 18 minutes and 21 seconds, he won't know why he's smiling. And I realized I was smiling. And I didn't know why. The next morning I woke up sitting. Not lying in bed. Not curled or sprawled. Just sitting. Upright. On the edge of the mattress. Exactly as the file had said. Blank. The light in the room looked off. Not too dark, not too bright. Just, not mine. Like it belonged to another version of this place. I reached for the laptop without thinking. Opened the file. It was already waiting. 7 hours 16 minutes and 2 seconds he wakes up. Sits on edge of bed. Feels blank. 7 hours 17 minutes and 10 seconds says, "I think I'm fine." 7 hours 17 minutes and 44 seconds, realizes he never went to sleep. I sat still. I said nothing. Then, just to defy it, I stood up and walked away from the screen. Went to the kitchen. Didn't say a word. Didn't look back. Poured water. Sipped it. Let time stretch. Tried to imagine the file waiting. Filling in blanks. But when I returned and opened the screen again, the entries had continued. 7 hours 18 minutes and 12 seconds, he tries to disobey. 7 hours 18 minutes and 45 seconds, he drinks water, slowly. 7 hours 19 minutes and 6 seconds, thinks this isn't writing itself, but it is. I sat down. Below that, something new. 7 hours 20 minutes and 15 seconds, he opens the hidden folder. I hadn't seen any hidden folder. I hadn't looked for one. But I checked. Held shift. Toggled visibility. A new directory appeared on my desktop. No name. Just a period. Inside it was a single document. Not a text file this time. A photo. No title. No metadata. Just an image. I opened it. It was a photo of me. From above. Taken from the ceiling corner of the room. A perspective that didn't exist. I was sitting at my desk, face lit by the screen, exact expression from maybe 10 minutes ago. But in the photo, there was someone else. Not clear. Just a shape behind me. A blur at the doorway. I checked the webcam. It was off. I didn't have ceiling cameras. There was no possible angle for that shot. I opened the folder again. Now there were more images. 8 of them. All taken at different times. Different rooms. Always the same thing, me, from above. Sometimes reading. Sometimes sleeping. Always unaware. In one, I was brushing my teeth. Shirtless. Still wet from the shower. But I hadn't taken a shower that day. Not yet. I stared at the screen. The timestamp on that photo was 10 minutes into the future. I sat perfectly still. Refused to move. Refused to let it come true. But when I blinked again, the photo changed. Updated. Same angle. Same time code. Now I was staring at the screen. And smiling. I unplugged the laptop. Pulled the battery. Left it open on the floor, screen dark, ports empty. I waited. I moved around the room slowly, touching nothing, speaking nothing. I kept the lights off. I wrote nothing down. Thought in broken sentences. Distracted myself with useless images, colors, shapes, old memories I didn't trust. Then I plugged the battery back in. Just to see. The laptop powered on. No delay. No boot screen. Straight to the desktop. The file opened itself. It hadn't stopped. The log resumed without a break. 8 hours 42 minutes and 5 seconds he disables power. Waits. 8 hours 46 minutes and 27 seconds he moves carefully. Thinks in fragments. 8 hours 49 minutes and 31 seconds he plugs it back in. The next line didn't describe. It instructed. 8 hours and 50 minutes he opens the new folder. There wasn't one. I checked. But then I saw it. Lower corner, barely visible, dark gray against black. Folder name, after. I opened it. Inside were 6 text files. Each was named like a date. But not today. Not yesterday. Each one was 3 days from now. I opened the first. The log resumed, same format. But different voice. It was colder. Shorter. Like the parts of me that stopped explaining. 11 hours 18 minutes and 14 seconds, stops checking mirror. No longer compares. 11 hours 42 minutes and 3 seconds, eats without tasting. 12 hours 9 minutes and 57 seconds, sleeps upright. Dreams correct. I opened another. It wasn't the log anymore. It was a checklist. Heavy check mark cancel external contact. Heavy check mark disable updates. Heavy check mark obey sequence. Heavy check mark return silence. I checked the others. One was blank, just a blinking cursor. Another was a spiral of timestamps, same minute, looping. 14 hours 22 minutes and 1 second, returns. 14 hours 22 minutes and 1 second, returns. 14 hours 22 minutes and 1 second, returns. The last file opened by itself. I didn't touch it. It contained only one line. Now, there is no version of you that stops this. I shut the laptop. Left the apartment. Walked for hours. But the sounds outside felt thin. The city too quiet. Too few cars. No wind. No bird echo. Like the world was buffering. At some point I looked up and saw my own window, across the street. Lit from within. And someone was sitting at the desk. Head tilted. Hands still. Watching a screen. I didn't go back inside. Not for hours. I walked aimlessly, hoping movement would break the pattern. But no matter how far I went, the world stayed the same. Too still. Too quiet. The way a stage feels just before someone steps into it. I tried using someone else's phone. A stranger in a coffee shop. Asked if I could make a quick call. Told them mine was dead. They hesitated. Looked through me. Smiled politely, like they'd practiced it. Said sure, then handed me the phone already dialing. My number. I froze. Watched the screen. And when the line connected, I heard breathing. Not through the speaker. Behind me. I handed the phone back and left. I don't remember walking home. Just opening the door and realizing I was already inside. The laptop sat where I'd left it. Lid down. Light blinking. I opened it. No login screen. Just the file. It had kept going. Pages of entries I hadn't seen. But something had shifted. The tone wasn't observational anymore. It was recursive. Looped. Lines repeating with tiny differences. 14 hours 22 minutes and 1 second, returns. 14 hours 22 minutes and 1 second, returns. 14 hours 22 minutes and 1 second, returns. Over and over. Thousands of times. Then a break. New text. 14 hours 22 minutes and 2 seconds, looks away. 14 hours 22 minutes and 4 seconds, checks mirror. 14 hours 22 minutes and 7 seconds, stops calling it. The file starts calling it. Him. I scrolled faster. Hand shaking. Near the bottom, a fresh section appeared. No timestamp. No prefix. Just a heading. Sequence stabilized. No further input required. Then, you may proceed. I didn't know what that meant. I tried closing the file. It wouldn't close. I tried renaming it. It reset. I tried copying it. Dragged it to a USB. But the USB wouldn't eject. It wasn't recognized anymore. Then the cursor began to move. On its own. It scrolled back to the top. Line by line. Slowly. And I felt something shift in my chest. Not pain. Not panic. Recognition. Like I'd read all of this before. Like I'd written it. I stared at the screen and realized I couldn't remember the last decision I made that wasn't already in the file. Maybe days ago. Maybe longer. I shut the laptop. Walked to the mirror. But it didn't show the room behind me. Just the screen. Still open. Still writing. And me. Sitting in front of it. Still typing. The mirror stayed wrong. No reflection. Just the screen. And me. But not me now. The version in the mirror wasn't moving the same way. He typed slowly, rhythmically, like he wasn't thinking, just following. His face was calm. Too calm. I raised my hand. He didn't. I stepped away. He kept sitting. I covered the mirror with a towel. The towel fell off. Not slipped, dropped. Like it had been peeled. I didn't touch the laptop again that night. But the light from the screen never dimmed. And in my head, I kept hearing a sentence I hadn't written. If you stop, he doesn't. At some point I lay down. I must have slept. I woke to the sound of keys clicking. I sat up fast. The laptop was closed. But the sound continued. Steady, faint, mechanical. I pressed my ear to the wood floor. It was coming from underneath. I don't have a downstairs neighbor. I live on the first floor. The building has concrete beneath it. But the sound kept going. Like someone copying. I opened the laptop. The file was still there. But it wasn't text anymore. It was an image. Of me. Typing. From the side. Same posture. Same hoodie. But no laptop in front of me. Just empty desk. And hands moving on their own. I checked the source code. There was no image embedded. No date at all. Just one string, repeating endlessly. Following follows followed. I typed a line beneath it, just to see. Who is following? The text blinked, then rewrote my line. Who is not? I closed the file. Disconnected everything. Hard shut the machine. Removed the drive. But when I turned, the monitor was still on. Even unplugged. The screen showed a live image. Me. From behind. I turned around. Nothing there. No camera. No tripod. Just a dark corner of the room. But in the image, something stood there. Blurred. Familiar. Watching me watch it. And on the screen, I saw my own mouth move. But I didn't feel it happen. The next morning came without light. Gray sky. Quiet air. Nothing moved outside the windows. No traffic. No birds. I sat at the desk, staring at the black screen. The laptop was off. I hadn't touched it. But I could still feel it. Like something was waiting behind the glass. I checked the power. The cord was unplugged. Battery removed. Still, the screen flickered, just once, and then returned to black. I turned it over. There was no serial number. No branding. Just smooth metal. I don't know if it's even the same machine anymore. I moved to the kitchen, sat with the lights off, ate a dry piece of bread, watched the window for signs of movement. None came. Then I noticed the phone. Face down. Screen off. I hadn't used it in days. I picked it up. Battery 100%. No signal. No apps. Just one folder on the home screen. File. I opened it. The same interface. Same font. Same log. Only now it didn't describe what I did. It described what I would remember doing. 9 hours 12 minutes and 44 seconds, remembers checking the window. Believes it was cloudy. 9 hours 13 minutes and 11 seconds, remembers eating. Can't recall the taste. 9 hours 13 minutes and 47 seconds, assumes he is alone. I shut it. Dropped the phone into a drawer. But the drawer was already full of phones. Identical. All face down. I backed away. Went to the mirror. It showed the room. Empty. Then the image blinked. I was sitting at the desk again. Typing. Only I wasn't. I was standing at the mirror. But the version of me in the reflection was calm, smiling, typing slowly, like he'd always been there. I spoke aloud. I didn't write this. But the reflection kept typing. Then the mirror flashed. And I saw a full desktop of folders. Each one labeled with a different date. Some were months ahead. Some were years. Each one was me. Already written. Already lived. Already opened. And as I watched, a new folder appeared in the mirror. You, final. I turned away. Left the room. Didn't take anything. Didn't say goodbye. And now I don't use devices. Don't open files. Don't look into glass. But sometimes I'll pass a window at night, see a screen glowing inside, and catch a glimpse of someone hunched over it. Still typing. Still following. Still smiling. And for a second, I'll feel that strange warmth in my chest. That quiet understanding. That maybe it's still writing. And maybe I never stopped being part of it. The end.